know, for stuff. But yeah, looking at this quickly, people, this is where the first goals come from. It ends up over there, and I'm going to show you, but we're second best, really. And all game we wasn't, you know, Brighton had us in our own half. There you can see it. You know, Tossarts ended up scoring, people. But, bro, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 shirts queuing. And this is a bit like when we conceded against Watford or in general. A number of times against Liverpool. We're not following runners. We're second best. Mwepo and Caicedo for their 2 goals. They're making runs off the ball. You know, that when Brighton, we underestimate Brighton. We know they're a technical side. They're very good tactically. They're very good technically. They got good players. Graham Potter's a bad boy manager. We know what they're about. When they bopped us for this, bro, again, the eventual goal scorer. If you remember, Welbeck made a run. If you don't remember, Cucurella's played it to Tossart, and I believe that's Caicedo out of shot. They've played a little 1-2, and it's fallen to the edge of the area. But Mwepo twice has not been picked up. Lacazette and Martinelli this time. Before, it looked like Smith Rowe and to go with Xhaka out of play. And then you look at our build-up play. Again, kind of highlighting what I was talking about. Out of shot, but Xhaka's advanced forward. Gabriel's gone over there. Lokonga, because he's a bit insecure and scared as a baller, he's standing as a 6. Odegaard's playing on the right-hand side. You can't see Smith Rowe in shot, but you can kind of guess, to go with how narrow Cedric is, why we're not going to look like a team that is going to score a goal or ask a question against Brighton, especially when they're playing 3 at the back, people. Do you get it? As you can see, bro, like there's no receivers like that. Smith Rowe's there, Xhaka's there. They're playing a back 3, you know, again. And we had a disjointed press. Again, we're not pressing together. Again, it's still shots, but you get the point in it. We're pressing, Laka's pressed, and then Martinelli's joined, but it's disjointed. They beat the press. If it doesn't go into, I can't make out who that is, but there's about 3. You can see about 3 options in shot, and out of shot there was even more. I just thought that's a good reference point. Moving away from that, let's look at the first goal. Again, as I said, Mwepo, who nutmegged Smith Rowe and violated us and whatnot, he was making that run all game. The first goal, like I said, I showed you the first Saka screenshot. That's basically the start, right? It's gone over to this hand side. We forced them backwards. Dunker's being pressed, and Dunker's a bit like against Palace, you know, when Anderson pulled it down there. You know, Dunker sprayed it into the left-hand channel. Mwepo's made that run. Smith Rowe, it's not just Smith Rowe, the whole team, nobody has smelt that, you know. He's made that run. Simple as that. Xhaka's out of position. He's exploited that. And then you've all saw what's to come. Again, what annoyed me is there's about 4 blue shirts queuing up. Everyone's queuing up. Again, not to scale, people, but you get the point in it. Let's move these back. Not to scale, but there's a gang of shirts. Obviously, it's fallen to Tossart. Tossart slapped it in, bro. It's good football from them. We're sleeping. Again, you've got to earn the hard graft. So that's the first goal, which was silly to concede. The second one, as I said, we're getting bopped. Once again, not following runners. Fantastic, about a gazillion 1-2s from them. We're not looking over the shoulders. And then, obviously, Mwepo lengths it from outside the area. So goal of the season contender from Brighton in terms of well-worked goals. If we scored that, let's not cap. We're getting behind-the-scenes access. I'm being shameless and talking about it week in, week out on YouTube and Twitch. Big up you lot. Don't forget, we go live at 11:30. They bopped us. You know, Caicedo made his first start. It all came from a Cucurella throw-in. And in terms of getting your head in check, Cedric, who I don't know why you're taking set pieces, but Cedric's confirmed. He's not alone. I'm not just blaming Cedric, but just to try and see where our head's at in the game. The ball's gone out for a throw-in. Cedric is more concerned with shouting at the referee and whatnot than switching on. We've switched off. So we're playing silly games and winning silly prizes, really. The build-up players, you could say, it's not making sense, people. You know, I'm seeing Lacazette peel over here because he's out of the game anyways. You know, Smith Rowe and Martinelli are trying to make their runs. It's not happening. Xhaka is there. Gabriel's pulling out wide. You know, Lokonga standing where the two, that's him in it. Lokonga standing there. Smith Rowe's there. Odegaard's on the right-hand side. Cedric can't pour forward too much because Xhaka is playing in that role. Saka's on the halfway line. Oh, we're playing against a back 3. You know, Basuma and all of them in the midfield did their job. Brighton did their job, man. I'm seeing Tossart, Mwepo switch positions. I think the way he deployed Cucurella, their midfield had our numbers. You know, they won their first and second balls. They kind of broke our team down into sub-teams, especially the middle and final third. I think they really suffocated our team just based on how we played. So we were done. So I think Arteta, as much as the players were poor, I think Arteta's underestimated Graham Potter tactically. I think he's needed to make a change at left back. You know, I understand why in theory Xhaka's playing more experience, but it's more the knock-on effect. I think we really should have gone with El Nene, Xhaka, and one of Smith Rowe or Odegaard within the middle people. And if any, one on the Smith Rowe probably would have held bench, because I would have said Martinelli needs to play. Saka's there. Lacazette, I probably would have started. Bro, they ripped us. Brighton's admin adding salt to our wounds as well. Hope they get relegated, but I'm only saying that because I'm sour. That was just a play thing. So yeah, it was a madness, people. And in fact, I think I've got more things for you. You know, you can see here. You know, again, I don't know if this makes sense, and this is in shot, but you can. Bro, Lacazette is right wing. Man, I'm frustrated, and again, Lacazette is harming us because you're not offering nothing to the back three, anyways. Brighton are a good team. If they have, on the best of days, man, no against Lacazette, like you saw with Crystal Palace, he's not the quickest. So in a foot race, we can get him. Fullbacks go forward, or whoever's playing there go forward. And maybe Graham Potter knew that with who he deployed as the wing backs in theory, who were more so attackers. And I don't blame Lacazette for being frustrated because again, we don't need you as the 9. We need a proper 9. But on midfield, we ain't got a midfield. As I said, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and Lokonga. I want to see a thing like that in the years to come, because I think there's, as I said, I would like to see 2 6s, 3 6s, 2 8s, you know, 2 number 10s and an 8, you know, different games, different trios and pivots and stuff. But, you know, right now they were set up to fail. They're all out of their depth. You know, they're all not at the best in their own game. They've all been moved positions. So how are they going to work collectively? Again, not to scale, but this is basically Martinelli's come all the way from the left wing and started doing dribbling over here. So we were kind of playing into their hands, really, which was dead. And I would say for Arteta, the questions I would genuinely love to know: why is Cedric taking all these set pieces? You know, Martinelli left back, I understand it, but I don't, because he's on more attacking threat. Again, a bit like Palace, when Martinelli and Saka look threatening on either flanks, even when we're chasing the game, you've swapped them, which I didn't understand. Why take chances at this point in the season? You know, Xhaka left back killed us, not because Xhaka's playing left back, it's because our midfield don't tick without him, and we've got no Thomas Partey, so it's a gamble that didn't risk. You know, I like that Arteta is trying it, and like I said, in the future, the players, there's different things they can do, but you know, these players are still understanding their own jobs. So how can they collectively understand a new one? You know, are we overestimating our intelligence? Isn't the right word, but the level of in intelligence with our players, that they're not ready to be doing all of these intricacies and stuff. We might have to, you know, they're not ready for this. City can do all of these things, but we can't. I can't lie, Arteta, anytime you buck a half decent tactician, you kind of struggle. You know, again, going more back to January, we knew this was a case, and it was working for time until it's not. It was naivety when looking at our squad depth. And if I'm here, Arteta, you've been here for 2-3 years. I'm not against anybody that left in the January window, but it's the knock-on effect. And if you can't bring people in, you can't bring people in. But this is the territory you walk in, and this is the criticism that man have to accept, people. There's no plan B for Xhaka moving out of midfield. I don't think there's a plan B if Lacazette, unfortunately, touchwood, gets injured or the form continues. I don't think there's a plan B to try anything else. As I said, we're tinkering at the wrong time. We're further unbalancing the team to plug holes, and instead of plugging the gap, we're creating more. In my opinion, that's where I'm at with Mikel Arteta. For the players, you talk about bounce back. You didn't want to bounce back against Brighton because, like, you know, has Arsenal even played for the last 2 games? I don't know. I wouldn't know, because none of you turned up. None of you lot's kits are dirty. You're losing first and seconds. You disrespected the fans at home. You crippled yourselves at Palace. It was a terrible week. You know, we hold our L. We accept it this week against St. Mary's against Southampton. You have to go again. Southampton are not going to be that side that just conceded 6 shambolic goals against Chelsea. They're going to look at Arsenal like how Palace and Brighton did, as, bro, we can get 3 points. Both them previous teams got 4 points off us. Crazy. You know, the players have also bottled it this week. You know, they bottled the challenge of an informed Crystal Palace side, you know, South London nighttime, earning the right to play. You can't always do it against relegation candidates, you know, really. I would say you crippled your players as well, because you know Xhaka isn't a left back. By trade, he's a midfielder. So you can see him getting caught high up the field. So I don't think there was a plan to mitigate against that. Even Gabriel was getting sucked over them sides there. You know, Lacazette in the last 2 games has offered nothing. And again, the one thing you gave Lacazette over Aubameyang is that Aubameyang wasn't scoring goals. Neither necessarily was Lacazette. If neither player is scoring goals, then Lacazette's the best player because he's got more to his game. If he's not only not scoring goals, but not bringing anything, then are we just playing man because he's the captain? And arguably in the same way, you know, you're playing these young players. You threw Lokonga in, you threw Tavares in at Palace. Lacazette's not going to be here next season. And if there is no pressure, you might as well just go with Martinelli through the middle or whatever. I did think it took too long to bring on Pepe as well, if I'm completely honest with you. I think, there was too much space. Once again, credit to Brighton, man. They left their top forward on the bench and scored 2 goals. They bopped us. Not only did they bop us on the football field, they won their battles, Watching the game again, Pascal Gross, Tossart, Mwepo, Dunk, even at centre-back. It was interesting, Basuma, Calcedo. It was interesting seeing the little bits and pieces Graham Potter was demanding of his team. They remained patient. They sat back. They exploited the gaps they could. And they look like they are a more experienced side than us. But I have to say that they played through the gaps that we created in the midfield, etc. As you saw for the first goal, really. They forced our players backwards. They suffocated and isolated certain sections of our team, and ultimately they frustrated the front three. But we shot ourselves in the foot way before we can give credit or talk about Brighton. Not that I'm not giving credit, you get the point. Games like this ultimately once again showed you need a forward and you need an 8. There's a lack of vision from players in the deeper third, and a lack in our half, and a lack of ability to play those passes. There's a lack of consistent movement. If it's not in the last 2 games, it's not Martinelli. What's really going on? So yeah, man, it is what it is. Like, that's all I got to say, really, from a tactical point. It's a shambolic. Yeah, we scored. Who gives a fuck about it? We lost. Like, it don't really make sense. But yeah, man, that's all I have to say on Arsenal versus Brighton, people. And it's obviously a kick in the teeth for top 4 hopes. We're gonna get into the other football in a piece, people. So yeah, man, it is what it is. DG, I obviously don't follow Arsenal as religiously as you, man. Can you tell me where this Xhaka left back thing started? Probably 2 seasons, a season ago. We've seen it before to mixed success. Southampton away, what changes would you make? Well, you might, if you're not gonna, you might slightly. Do you know what? They can see the bunch of goals like us. So, do you need to go to a back 3 away from home? That's a serious conversation to have. I genuinely think there's a case to go back 3. Pardon me, and we'll speak about this as the week goes on, and I'll have to see how I feel.